guys, welcome back to another video. Rope Monster here. I only usually upload videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, but there's some current events here in Playa del Carmen that I really felt like you should be informed of, and I haven't seen any other YouTubers or anyone else cover this news. It's almost like it never happened. So usually the subject matter of this channel is very positive. It's where to find the best foods, the best beaches, how to retire here, how to retire early. Maybe it's fitness, health related. It's always something positive. But the underlying factor is that I'm trying to bring value. And I think there's a lot of value in bringing current events, and so that you guys can make informed decisions about your time here in Playa del Carmen, whether or not you come. My intention here is not to discourage anyone from coming to Playa del Carmen. This is a beautiful place. We're here on 5th Avenue right now. As you can see, the weather's perfect. Everything is very tranquil. But Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, a friend of mine was in town from Jalisco, and I hadn't seen this friend for close to 5 years. So we were inclined to go out, get a few beers. We went to a second spot, and so it was all of a sudden after midnight. We had kind of lost track of time, and this incident was fairly alarming. And something really stood out to me in particular that disturbed me about this event. And I will explain that toward the end of the video. First of all, we're gonna walk down 5th Avenue to where this took place, and I will explain and set the stage as we go. All right, and here we go. All right, guys, so we are now heading down to where this event took place. There was a big fight on Sunday right on 5th Avenue, and here we have some police who are supposed to protect us, keep us safe. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So this fight was brutal. I had never seen a fight in Playa del Carmen, let alone right on 5th Avenue. It was a little after midnight. Me and a friend were heading to another bar, and we couldn't actually get past. The fight kind of completely blocked off 5th Avenue. And it just kept escalating and escalating. I don't know how long it had been going on at the time we arrived there, but you know, some of the guys' shirts were already ripped. Some of the guys were already bleeding from their faces. And there were things being thrown, so people couldn't really safely pass by. And there were still families and couples and people out trying to enjoy life. But most people were kind of stopped in their tracks by this fight. And at one point, you know, and this is one of the reasons people weren't passing by. At one point, things were being thrown, but then one key moment, there was like a champagne bottle broken over someone's head, and glass went flying everywhere. It looked like basically like what you would see in a movie. And the one thing that was a little disturbing was the fight was so intense that the guy who got the bottle broken over his head just kind of kept fighting like it didn't happen. I don't know if he was just feeling the adrenaline or if there were maybe some drugs involved, but he didn't seem to even feel it. And so after getting to this fight, it went on for probably a solid 7 to 10 minutes. And for those of you who watch, you know, UFC, I'm clearly filming and that guy just offered me a massage anyway. Got to applaud the tenacity. But yeah, for those of you who watch UFC, 3 minutes is a long time to fight straight. But these guys were going at it for a solid 7 or 8 minutes without really getting tired. And the fight kind of kept sucking more people in. A few people tried to break it up, then they ended up involved in the fight. And I thought about trying to help. I was literally right there. But I kind of figured it was none of my business, and because I didn't see how the whole thing started, I would have had no clue who to help, who were the good guys, who were the bad guys. So I stayed on the sidelines, exercised my best judgment. But at one point there were 7 or 8 people involved in the fight, and it just kept escalating and escalating. So guys, earlier we saw 2 police officers, and now we're seeing the National Guard. That was 2 National Guard officers there. And so at any given time, we have as many as 5 branches of military here working together, supposedly to keep us safe. And I'm going to touch on what's so disturbing about this incident. The fight itself was disturbing. It was very violent. People got hurt really badly. So the first thing that was really disturbing about it is it went on and on and on, and 0 law enforcement stepped in or showed up to do anything. So at any given time, we have the police, we have the National Guard, we have the Federales, we have the Army, and the Marines. So Marine Corps and Army, it's not uncommon to see those guys down here with assault rifles patrolling with the local PD and the Federales. And then the National Guard will be down here in groups of, anywhere from 2 to 7 National Guard members. And so what really disturbs me is that none of them showed up to break up the fight, nor to keep the civilians and tourists safe from the fight escalating. The second thing that disturbed me was that no ambulance, no medical services showed up, and one of the guys at the end of the fight was bleeding profusely from the head, and one of the bystanders had an extra garment of some sort and went and started to give him first aid. The fight itself, we're almost to where that went down. I'll show you guys here in a moment. All right, guys, so right when we got to about this point, to Porfirio's here, we could tell something was going on, and we saw like a big crowd right here gathered around, and nobody was moving beyond this point. There were plenty of people here at Amarino seated at these tables, and I got to right about here and then saw right in front of me, all this area right here was blocked off with people fighting. And right about where I'm standing now is where the guy got the bottle broken over his head. And so you can imagine the glass was flying. I could actually feel little bits of the glass where I was standing right there. It was like a big Moet kind of champagne style bottle, so you can imagine how much glass that was. And the crowd was kind of right there in front of Sonora Prime and this beach house retail shop. And so this whole area right here, the fight was just reminded me of kind of like an MMA fight, like a UFC fight, where they really did move around. It wasn't just isolated in one area. They moved around this whole area fighting. And like I said, it escalated to where there were 5, 6, 7, and even 8 people involved at one point. And the folks from this tours kiosk right there ended up breaking it up. So good for them. And yeah, even right here on 5th Avenue, things apparently can turn up a little bit. All right, guys, so right about here is where the fight went down, this whole area right here. Now, I definitely don't want to alarm anyone, scare anyone out of coming here. That's not the intention. It's just wanted you guys to be informed that apparently things get a little spicy even right here on 5th Avenue. So keep that in mind. Rope Monster out. For those of you who may be wondering, my main Rope Monster glasses suffered a volleyball to the face. Volleyball's really been beating me up lately. More on that later. But these are the loaners from my neighbor Luigi. Thanks, Luigi, you're the man. Hoping to get my Rope Monster, signature Rope Monster glasses back ASAP. Priorities. Let's go. Some electrical tape should do the trick.